Appreciate it. Good evening. Let's give it up for Wisdom Cole for a phenomenal emceeing. Let's give it up for yourselves for being here. Let's give it up to Miss Sydney Rain for putting this together. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. You could be anywhere tonight, but you decided to come here. And I'm super excited to hear about all the legacies, all being rooted in legacy, the pillars that have paved the way for someone like myself to come along, to take that torch and to keep going. So tonight, I'm going to share a few words of encouragement, of inspiration on, let's just keep this thing going. We come from a long lineage of winners. And tonight, I want to talk about a formula that I call a winning foundation. And I believe this formula will help us to stay rooted in legacy as we think about those in the past, the present, and the future. So 3 simple pillars. The first is vision. The second is faith. And the third is preparation. And so I'm going to talk about these 3 pillars that I created called the winning foundation formula. And we can use that to stay rooted in legacy. So for the first pillar, may you all shout out to me, vision? Vision. Good. Vision can be defined as something that you are imagining, but you have not yet seen yet. It's something that you're hoping for, something that you are desiring, and you have a vision for it. When I think about vision, I think about Harriet Tubman, who had a vision from God to help those that were enslaved to escape. Not only did Harriet Tubman escape, but she came back because she had a vision to get more. She had a vision to endure hardship. She had a vision to help those that may not have had a vision. And so that's the long lineage that we come from. And then we talk about faith. Can you all shout to me, faith? Faith. So that's pillar number 2 is faith. And I would define faith as having a strong belief in something that you desire, hope, or imagine. Having a strong belief in something that you desire, hope, or imagine. And when I think about faith, I think about Dr. King, who had a vision, who had faith that one day all ethnicities, all genders, all people of different socioeconomic status will be able to be in a room together, to be able to advance policies together, to be able to go to classrooms together. Even though he was not alive to see the vision he had, he believed in it. So my question to you is rhetorical. What is your vision for legacy? Do you have faith in the vision, in the legacy that you want to continue to stay rooted in? The third pillar is preparation. Can you shout to me, preparation? Preparation. Preparation, I would define preparation as the work ethic, the endurance, being able to put in the work to obtain the vision, put in the work to have faith to obtain the vision. Faith without works is dead. We can believe all we want to, but if we're not putting the work for the vision, if you don't put in the work to have faith in the vision, you're going to be not prepared when the moment arrives. So, on our journey to stay rooted in legacy, let's have a vision, let's have faith in the vision, and let's prepare for the vision. And my call to action tonight is, each and every one of us, let's find a current UC Santa Cruz student where we can help their vision. We can help their faith in their vision, that we can help them prepare for their vision. My call to action tonight is, with our peers in the room, let's learn each other's vision. Let's figure out how we can help each other have faith in the vision that we have. Let's learn how we can help each other prepare for the vision. And I humbly submit to you that if we do that, we will have a winning foundation to sustain being rooted in legacy. When I think about being rooted, I think of a firm foundation of not being able to be knocked off your path. We see a lot of things get built up quickly, but if it didn't have a firm foundation, when the winds come, when the storms come, when the trials come, it cannot last. But if you have a firm foundation in vision, if you have a firm foundation in faith, if you have a firm foundation in being prepared, we will maintain being rooted in legacy. And so being rooted in legacy is super important, and I just want to share that word of encouragement with you all. So, because I look at the crowd and I see winners in different categories. We have so many generations that are represented here, and we're all winners. And so I want to share that word of encouragement with you, but I also want to share how I arrived to becoming a winner. You all are looking at a polished version of me, but I wasn't always like this. So I'm from Los Angeles. Specifically, I'm Inglewood, Made, Compton raised. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old, and so I split my time between both neighborhoods. And unfortunately, at the time, gang violence was super prevalent in my neighborhoods. Red and blue was not just a color, but it was Crips and Bloods, and I had to navigate that situation. And so for me, I knew that was not a path that I wanted to go down because I saw that was a life of destruction. But I didn't know how to make it out of my circumstances. And so I thought that sports would be the best way to make it out of my circumstances. I saw gangs, I saw entertainment, and I saw sports. I couldn't rap or sing, so I know that was out. That was out immediately. And I knew gangs, that wasn't for me. And so I chose basketball. I was determined, I'm going to the NBA. I put all my eggs in that. I'm going to grind it out, go to the NBA, make it out of my circumstances, go home and help my community. That was my dream. That was my vision. That's what I had faith in, and that's what I prepared for. But one day I was driving home from my high school basketball game. I was 16 years old. I was about a block away from my home, and I see these lights step behind me, and it's the police. And I've never been pulled over before. And the police approached my vehicle, telling me that I forgot to turn my headlights on. It was an old 2000 Volvo manual. I just forgot to turn it on. And instead of receiving a traffic ticket, they told me to roll down the window, turn the car off, throw the keys out of the window, put my hands outside the window. I was taken out of the car, handcuffed, searched in the middle of the street. They're asking me what gang I'm from. They're asking me where I'm going. And you can imagine that I'm 16 years old and I'm handcuffed. And that's the most dehumanizing experience that I've ever had to date. Seeing cars pass by, probably wondering what I did wrong because I'm in handcuffs. After that, they put me in the back of the police car. They searched my entire vehicle for over an hour because they said there was a report of a stolen vehicle in the area. Now, I knew that was not true because all they had to do was look at my license and registration, and they would have saw the car was in my name. But I didn't know my rights. I consented to the search. I didn't know I didn't have to do a consent search. So they searched my entire vehicle for over an hour. I'm handcuffed in the back of the police car. They let me go with no ticket, a warning, but a decade of trauma that I had to heal from. But I didn't know at that time. And so because I was from Inglewood and Compton, that was normal. I know a lot of people that experienced that, so I brushed it off. And so I didn't even tell my parents. My parents didn't even know about that until 2020 when George Floyd got killed, and my job was going to do a piece on my story, and I didn't want my parents to find out on the news. I wanted them to know it from me. And so I kept that to myself for a long time because a lot of people experience what I experienced. But I had to stay focused. I wanted to go to the NBA, so I brushed it off, stayed focused, put my head down, and I arrived at a beautiful campus at UC Santa Cruz. And I had the opportunity to play college basketball here, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay focused, play college basketball. And unfortunately, a lot of things happened while I was here. Trayvon Martin got killed. Mike Brown got killed when I was here. Eric Gardner, a lot of high-profile shootings happened while I was here at UC Santa Cruz. And that bothered me because I remember what happened to me when I was 16 years old. And so I wanted to do something about it. And so I did an internship at the Long Beach Police Department, and I wanted to see how policing works from the inside, to see if that's an area that I can enact change on. And one night I was on a ride along where you are a passenger in a police officer's car and you go with them throughout their day. And we got behind a group of 5 Latino men, and the officer asked me, do I want to pull these individuals over? So now I'm seeing in live time how discretionary a traffic stop is. And I said, no, sir, why would I want to do that? And he said, I just want to show you how I conduct a traffic stop. And so I'm remembering what happened to me. I'm remembering all of these high-profile shootings, so I declined. And I thank God I did, because I don't know what would happen that night if we would have pulled over the group of the 5 Latino men. And so I'm going frustrated, get back to the police department station, and one of the sergeants, he was a black male, and I'm like, how are you an officer during this time? I'm trying to reconcile. I want to make change, but I don't know how to do it. I'm like, would you have done anything differently? And he said he would have went to law school. And no one ever said that to me before, up until that point. And so I'm about 19 to 20 years old. So I went my whole life not knowing that law school was even an option for me. I thought it was basketball or nothing. Like most youth think that it's basketball or nothing. And so after that moment, I was reflecting on what happened to me at 16. I was reflecting on our ride along, reflecting on this mentor telling me about law school. I'm like, okay. And so around my junior year, my basketball career is not going how I hoped. The NBA has not been calling at this point. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was just really in a dark space, because that's my ticket out of my circumstances. Have y'all ever been there before where your ticket out of your circumstances is not going where you hoped? Yeah. And so I wasn't feeling very well, about what my chances of going to the NBA were. And so I remember vividly, I'm a man of faith, I got a vision from God to go to law school, and I'm reflecting on all these things that transpired in my life. And so I got the vision, I believed in it, and I took a leap of faith and applied. Now mind you, most people that want to go to law school have been wanting to do that since they were 4, 5. I don't even know what law school is. How do I apply? What am I supposed to do? And so this is my junior year, started going to different events, took the LSAT, ended up getting into several law schools, and I decided to go to the University of San Francisco Law School in 2015. And that was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life, even though I was sad that I couldn't play basketball no more, because it was an abrupt shift. Can you imagine from 4 years old to 20 years old dedicating your life to one thing, and then at an instant moment having to pivot? That was heartbreaking for me, but I'm so glad that it happened. And so I went to the University of San Francisco. I struggled applying to law school. I struggled in law school. I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. First generation law student, I didn't know what I was doing. And so that's why I was encouraged to become the founder of Arnwine Winners Foundation, where I coach students on how to apply to law school, because I struggled. I did not know what I was doing, and I found all the ways not to do it. I ran out of options. I took so many losses applying to law school, so many losses in law school, and I turned it into a curriculum where I teach people now from my experience on how to be winners. And so that's how I arrived with this winning foundation. It came from trauma. I turned my trauma into my triumph. I turned my pain into my gain. And so what I'm sharing with you on tonight is that I'm just an ordinary guy doing phenomenal things. I see ordinary people doing phenomenal things, and I'm grateful to be a part of that phenomenal legacy here at UC Santa Cruz. And so I want you all to be encouraged that 1, you're a winner. 2, have vision. 3, have faith. Prepare for the vision, have faith in the vision, and let's get to work on helping the next generation on their vision, instilling faith in them, preparing for their vision, so we can keep this foundation going, because we are winners being rooted in legacy. That's my time. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to turn it back in the hands of Wisdom Cole. Thank you.